Alright, let's pause this thing. So, pulled out the camera, want to show you guys real quick. We got our first sort of snowfall here, but that's obviously not the highlight of the video. And what the highlight of the video is that I'm really close to pulling the trigger on this deal on Grailed. So these are the Michigan dunk highs, the sportswear dunk highs that dropped earlier this year. Dead stock. And if you look at the price here, they're listed at $180. $20 shipping to me is kind of ridiculous, but in reading the description, this dude is based in Moscow, Russia, I believe. So even with that $20 shipping for 200 shipped, these things are still below market value here in the States, and I'm in really no rush to get these things, so I might jump on this deal because this is the cheapest I've seen it. I've obviously taken the L on the sneakers app on release, also my local boutique. I also did try a few times between their release and now, which is right before Christmas, to get them for a good deal, but every single time I didn't end up pulling the trigger and regretted it. So with this deal at hand, I might actually go ahead and do it. Think the thing worth noting is that they do have a factory flaw, which is that sort of exposed stitching at the midsole. To me, that's not a big deal. It's not a big make or break because I do plan on wearing these anyway. But yeah, I'll keep you guys posted and see if I actually pick them up. There are 53 likes on this thing. When I saw it last night, it was at 8. So I guess people are actually fond of this deal. And to paint the picture as far as market value goes, so today is what, December the 17th? The best price on GOAT is $205, brand new in box. So consider the $12 shipping. Sales over the past few days, you'll see they're between what, $244 on the high end and $212 on the lower end. Again, consider the $12 shipping. You're paying a pretty price. And then if we move over to everyone's favorite of StockX, right now the lowest ask is $208. Even if you hit the buy now price at the lowest ask, you're paying all these fees and shipping, you're looking at about $230 ship, which again is a pretty high ask. Historical sales too, you could see it sort of peaks and dives depending on the day. But either way, I think this price on Grailed that I'm looking at is the best priced at 200 shipped. And just like that, we got them, boys. So now we just wait a few weeks and hopefully they come in a reasonable time, but either way, I'm not sweating it. I sort of bought these as an experiment too, to sort of see how these international sellers do things and how long the process is and what customs is like, etc, etc. But stoked to get these in, and we'll catch up in a few weeks when they decide to show up.
16 paranoia-filled days later.
Picking up the camera here in the new year just to provide a little update. So on December 26th, day after Christmas, they left Russia. And now today is January 8th and we finally got some action, so looks like they've arrived in Poland. So Poland is essentially a world's away from here in the US, so gonna give it a few more days and see where it ends up.
1 week later.
So quick last update. So it made its way through Chicago, took a few days to process there, some spot in Illinois, and then now it has finally arrived in New Jersey and should be out for delivery at some point today. So excited to finally see these things after about 3 weeks to a month, and let's go check it out once it's here.
Many unbearable hours later.
And I figured I'd give you a quick overview of what this box entirely looks like because, you know, it comes from essentially what is a different world. So again, these came from Moscow, Russia. You can see all the tape and stuff. The box here is actually pretty legit. It's packaged up very well, no sort of movement or anything. But I figured I'd show you guys the shipping label as well. So it says customs declaration may be officially open. So I guess whenever going through customs, they have the right to, you know, just inspect the package as it is going overseas. The guy had it listed as a gift, mentioned that they're shoes and had a value of only $40 US, which maybe in a past life they did, but now these things are going for like 200 plus. But this is obviously to avoid any sort of custom fees or, you know, put a red flag in their mind. You can see that this was taken care of on December 19th, 2020. So it's pretty much about a month since these have shipped and they're finally now in my possession. So let's go ahead, crack this box open and take a look. Alrighty, so we got 2 cameras set up and let's see how we could open this thing up. Yo, shout out this guy. This box is really secure. I don't even know how I'm getting in here. Oh, there we go. This is not in any way graceful at all, this unboxing. This is terrible. Alright, let's just rip. shout out to this Russian paper real quick. Yo, shout out this guy on Grilled. So he has a lot of experience doing this. I was checking his feedback out, and a lot of his sales come from US buyers, so not so much sneakers. I mean, he does sell a few sneakers, but it was mainly this luxury streetwear items. So he had a lot of positive reviews, so I'll be sure to pop that in. Dunk High, SP, Varsity Maize, Midnight Navy. You can see these Russian store tags here. Gonna have to check that QR code, see what's going on, but these were purchased from what I want to assume was a retail store over there, so that's good to know. Box is in perfect condition. I just want to note, these boxes that I get from the US sometimes come mangled, so it's great that these things were preserved. Oh wow, he even packaged them in bubble wrap. Incredible. Just going the extra mile for me, so definitely appreciate that. And here they are, finally, here they are. These things are brand new, dead stock, never worn, original laces. Wow. The stitching over there, but you can't even notice unless you're looking super closely. But otherwise, this thing feels great. And yeah, let me take a look at these, get some more thoughts in before I pick up the camera once more, but super glad to finally have these things in. So we're going full voiceover mode here, just because I don't think there's a whole lot to cover in this review portion of the video. If you don't know about these, they originally surfaced in 1985 as part of Nike's Be True to Your School dunk collection. Since then, they've retroed a bunch of times, and now in 2021 we're at the peak of this sort of dunk hype resurgence, so Nike was timely in dropping these back in September of 2020. These come standard with a red Nike sportswear box, and just to note for those of you guys that are new to Nike dunks, these aren't Nike SB dunks, they are Nike sportswear dunks, which is a big difference. Getting to the material mix on here, they are in an all-over leather upper in the University of Michigan Wolverines color blocking of navy blue and Varsity Maize. Keep in mind the colorway is inspired by the school, there isn't any official school logoing or branding or anything like that. The overall construction and materials are very similar to pretty much every 2020 Nike sportswear dunk release, with the exception of a few that obviously use suede. I'd say the leather quality itself is pretty decent, there is a nice soft finish to it and has a nice grain. I don't think it's a genuine leather, rather a synthetic one, but you know, for what it is, it's pretty good. From the factory, these come laced up in a complementary navy blue color, and they also come with additional sets of maize and white laces, all that I consider to be a good look. It's just really a matter of personal preference. There are a few quality control issues specific to my pair, so your pair may not look the same, but there are some visible glue stains, and obviously the messed up stitching at the midsole that I pointed out earlier. It's not a shocker here, that's pretty much standard Nike in this day and age, and a lot of dunks from the factory come exactly like this. You're not paying for New Balance quality here, you're paying for the lifestyle look and aesthetic, and obviously the hype. Other details include obviously the white midsole, blue outsole, blue inner lining and sock liner, the Varsity Maize at the mesh tongue, and it's worth noting too that the Varsity Maize on the tongue and laces are a different shade from what's on the leather. I find that to be a similar case to the Iowa pair that I recently got from Steph for Christmas, shout out to her. Same thing, the leather paint on there is different from the laces and the tongue. It's not a red flag though, because that seems to be the case with everyone else's pairs, it just seems to be standard from the factory. As for sizing, I'm always between a 9.5 and a 10, and I got these in a 10 because that was obviously the deal at hand. And while there is a bit more room, I find it to be tolerable and it's not too big. As for comfort, it's whatever, it's nothing notable. I don't generally think of the Dunk as a super comfortable sneaker, rather it's just a lifestyle everyday wear. While these things aren't uncomfortable, they aren't the most comfortable either for what it is. So overall, these things took 27 days to get to me here in the US from Russia. I'm not sure if that's standard shipping time from Russia to the US, or just because it's in limbo with the virus and the holidays. Either way, I'd consider that pretty fast because it's coming from a different country across the world. I'd even note that it's about as fast, or slow I guess depending on how you look at it, as the undefeated Air Max 97s that I just got in. Between order processing, handling, and shipping times on those, it took 23 days, for those coming to me from LA. A bit ridiculous, but it's part of the game. And for those that are questioning the legitimacy of these dunks, they are 100% legit. If you're ever in a situation like this and you're questioning the legitimacy of sneakers, do your research into both the shoes and the seller. When it came to feedback and overall credibility, the seller checked off all the boxes, so again, shout out to him. Also, the pictures he provided in the listing were super detailed and checked out, at least to my eye. I even went the extra mile and spent some money on the check app, which by the way isn't always the most accurate, but I do like the second opinion, and these things passed with flying colors. I'm super glad to have these in the collection. They're very wearable and they're just an overall great addition to my always growing collection of dunks. I also love that I have an experience and a story behind these beyond just the traditional Michigan inspiration behind this pair. Anyway, that does it for me. Let me know what you guys think of these dunks in the comment section below. Are you feeling them? Is buying a pair of sneakers from Russia something you'd ever consider doing? I'd love to read about it. If you like content like this, be sure to drop a like on the video and consider subscribing. I have a lot of content in the pipe this year, so just be sure to stick around the channel. And for what it's worth, you should definitely follow me on Instagram for sneak peeks to videos like this one. That's about it for this one though. Thanks for watching, I'll catch you guys in the next video.